All right, Dragon Warrior low tom video. All you need is this one drum and a couple of simple rhythms, lots of rests, quarter notes, which are right on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, or ta, 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 and eighth notes. T, 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You're going to mix those up as we go along. So please have your music out, read along with me, maybe even play along with me too. So it goes like this. The beginning is a nice pattern. You've got rest for 4 beats. You can count to 4. Next measure, you play 1, 2, rest, rest. Another measure of rest, and then it's answer pattern, T, T, ta, 1 and 2, rest, rest. Then you're going to flip them around in the beat after that. Rest, rest, ta, ta, rest, rest, T, T, ta. Same 2 rhythms, just come in closer to each other. Then in the last 2 measures of this opening section, big measure of rest, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the last pattern is finally different. It's ta, ta, sh, ta. So here's the whole first 8 measures together. 1, 2, ready, go. Rest, rest, measure 2, ta, ta. Rest, rest, measure 3, 2, 3, measure 4, ta, ta, ta. Rest, rest. Now faster. 1, 2, ta, ta. 1, 2, ta, ta, ta. 1, 2, 3, last measure. Ta, ta, sh, ta. So that's what's going on in the first measure, the first section of the song. Big drum introduction. While everybody else is blowing air through their instruments, drums are playing these rhythms. Let's go on to number 9. Measure 9 is the first, think of it like the verse of the song. It's going to happen again later in the song. The pattern that you have that I'd love for you to remember, because it happens a lot in this song. At 9 and 10, the pattern goes like this. Ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta, ta, ti, 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 ti. Ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta, ta, ti, 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 ti. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. That happens twice in a row. Measure 9 and measure 10, and then again, measure 11 and 12. So you do it twice in a row. After that, we've got T, T, rest, T, T, rest. You do that twice. T, T, rest, T, T, rest, T, T, rest, T, T, rest. And the last 2 measures, 15 and 16, at the end of line 2, going to the beginning of line 3, you've got T, T, ta, 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 16, ta, T, T, ta. Shh. So here is 9 all the way to 17. Play along with me. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, T, T, ta, T, T, ta, ta, T, 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 ta, T, T, ta, T, T, ta, ta, T, 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 rest, T, T, rest, T, T, rest, T, T, finish it off, T, T, ta, 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 T, T, ta. Good. At 17, we've got something a little bit different. The first 2 measures are different patterns, and then the 2 measures after that is the same thing that you played at 9. So here's 17, ta, rest, rest, T, T, ta, rest, rest, T, T. So it's the same thing twice. Ta, rest, rest, T, T. Do that twice. Then you play your first pattern. And then guess what? That whole thing repeats itself. So here it is, 17 all the way to 25. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, rest, rest, T, T, ta, rest, rest. Now, ta, T, T, ta, T, T, ta, ta, T, T. Repeat that section. Ready? T, T, ta, rest, rest, T, T, ta, T, T, ta, T, T, ta, ta, T, T, ta. All right? 25, guess what? The same thing you just did again. So 25 and 17 are the same. Here's what it sounds like, just for the extra practice. 25. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, rest, rest, T, T, ta, rest, rest, T, T, ta, T, T, ta, T, T, ta, ta, T, T, ta, rest, rest, T, T, rest, rest, T, T, ta, T, T, ta, T, T, ta, ta, T, T. That brings us all the way to 33. So 33 is a little bit different. There's a lot of different things happening here with the other instruments. So here's what you do. You have T, T, rest, T, T, rest. We saw that before. That's at 33. T, T, rest, T, T, rest. Next measure, ta, rest, T, 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 T. And then you're going to repeat that pattern. You're going to repeat that pattern 3 times. So it goes T, T, rest, T, T, rest, ta, rest, T, 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 rest, T, T, rest, ta, rest, T, T, T. Again, T, T, rest, T, T, rest, ta, rest, T, 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 T. That brings us to the last measure before measure 40. This is an extra measure here. And you have ta, T, 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 T. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. That's what that sounds like. All right? And that brings us right to 40, which is the same as 9. So I'll save it there. I won't play anymore. Actually, that's not true. I'm going to play more because there is something in here that was not there before. So 40 is that pattern that we've played. You can do it twice in a row. Ta, T, T, ta, T, T, ta, ta, T, 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 T. Again, ta, T, T, ta, T, T, ta, ta, T, 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 T. And back to T, T, rest. T, T, sh, T, T, sh, T, T, sh, T, T, sh. Last 2 measures. This is measure 46 and 47. You got T, T, ta, rest, T, T, ta. Very important, this part. T, T, ta, T, T, ta, sh, T, T, ta, sh. Say it one more time. The end of the, so I'm looking 4 lines from the bottom, the end of that line, and then going to measure 47. T, T, ta, 1, 2, ready, go. T, T, ta, sh, T, T, ta, sh. That brings us to 48. 48 is pretty easy now because now you have a little bit more room, a little more time to think. You got 48, ta, rest, 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 T, T, rest, 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 ta, rest, rest. It's a repeat. T, T, rest, rest, rest. Then we keep going from there. You've got ta, T, 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 ta. Twice. That brings us down to the last 2 lines of music, starting at 54. Rest, T, T, rest, T, T. This is backwards from before. Back up at measure 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, we've been playing T, T, rest, T, T, rest. Here, it's backwards. So this is 54. It's rest, T, T, rest, T, T. So be watching that. You might even want to circle that in your music. And we're going to keep going. So that's ta, rest. This is 54. Rest, T, T, rest, T, T, ta, ta, T, 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 ta. Rest, rest, rest. So here is the whole section of 48, which is a little bit different. It hasn't happened yet in this song. This is all new. So 48 goes like this. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, rest, rest, rest. T, rest, rest, rest. Ta, rest, rest, rest. T, rest. Now it gets busier. Ta, T, 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 ta. Again. Ta, T, 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 ta. Rest, T, T, rest. T, T, ta, ta, T, 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 ta. And that brings us to 57. 57, we've got T, T, ta, rest, T, 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 ta. Then, at the last line, 59, this is the same thing you played at 9. Ta, T, T, ta, T, T, ta, ta, T, 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 T. And the very last 2 measures. Ta, rest, T, 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 ta. Rest, rest, rest. So here's 57 to the end. 1, 2, ready, go. T, T, ta, rest, T, 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 ta. Ta, T, T, ta, T, T, ta, ta, T, 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 ta. Rest, T, 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 ta. That's the whole thing. So if I were you, I would go through each measure, each group of 2 measures, write in any beats that are a little different, that only happen once or twice. I would circle things that are giving you a problem. Try to play it all the way through. And if you can say the tas and the TTs while you go, it will help you tremendously. So good luck, and I will see you soon. Keep practicing. Bye.